Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Live from Will's Gayroge. Of course, again, we're still on location at the craft room, right? And this week has been an interesting week. I've been talking to quite a few people. A lot of my conservative friends and my liberal friends, or what we would call conservative and liberal. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But just to kind of get an idea as to what you know, if I was to say what is this or what is that and what have you, and what I mean by that is I got my notes all over the place. I actually woke up a couple of days ago with the sinus congestion, sore throat thing, and it's kind of moved its way into my chest. And from my chest, it's gone into, sinus and chest. So that's why I sound like crap. But we got a couple of definitions that we got to go over, because the definitions. So again, how I've been saying, like words have meaning. Words are important, and we've got to keep going down the word rabbit hole, if you will. Right. So we're going to talk about the four topics again today. That's sex and gender. One is real, one is a social construct. We're going to deconstruct the social construct. Liberals versus conservatives, how they're exactly the same people. I'm going to show every last one of you, and you're going to hate it. Your truth versus my truth. No, there's only one truth. There's your feelings and my feelings, but the truth is the truth. And then shit book, how politics and religion are ruining social media. So, if my computer would open up. I joked around in my commercial about how, like, I won two science fair things when I was growing up. I know the scientific method. I understand the scientific method. I'm no slouch. I actually found my. So I'm not educated past high school. I went into the military and did 21 years in the Navy, as most, if not all of you know. And, I don't have a college education, but I don't think that having a college education makes you educated in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It doesn't make you smart. It doesn't make you intellectual. It doesn't make you anything. It just says, you spent 4 more years of your time, energy, and money to learn something, and that's not necessarily saying that you learned something. I will talk about being an adult and going to college, and how college is the biggest waste of time. I do the same job that college educated kids do, and I don't have a college education for it. Why is it I can do the job and I don't have a college education, and they need a college education to do the job? Because they were saps. That's why. They were told the great lie that our generation told the generation behind us, that you're not going to be anything unless you have a college education. Well, that's bullshit. You can be all kinds of things without needing a college education. And Mike Rowe would be one of the prime examples of telling people, like, you don't need a college education to do things. You right now, there's tradesmen that can charge more an hour than a brain surgeon and get it. Because we've lied to our kids and said, "Oh, you're not going to be anything unless you have a college education." Look at the trades right now. Like electricians are in high demand, plumbers, pipe fitters, high demand. Nobody wants to do those jobs because they're out in the weather normally, but they're in high demand, and high demand also means money, money, money. But that's neither here nor there. I'm waiting. I have an email, because I was thinking about some things and I wrote down, there's 7 steps to the scientific method, right? And I've got almost everything but this on my computer, and of course my computer's being slow as shit. So that's why we're gonna have it's gonna probably take longer than an hour for this one. But so I'm gonna read some definitions first, right? What is a social construct, right? A social construct is an idea that has been created and accepted by the people in a society. Class distinctions are a social construct. So, upper class, middle class, lower class, that's a social construct. So then let's look at gender, right? Gender is a subclass within a grammatical class, such as a noun, pronoun, adjective, or verb of a language that is particularly arbitrary, but also particularly based on distinguishable characteristics such as shape, color, social rank, manner of exercise, or sex, and that determines agreement with the selection of other words or grammatical forms, right? So the behavioral, cultural, or psychological traits typically associated with one's sex. I notice how gender points back to sex, and it really points back to sex hard, right? So we know that sex is real and gender is a social construct. So the definition actually goes on. Merriam-Webster actually goes on to educate and say the words sex and gender have a long and intertwined history. In the 15th century, gender expanded from its use as a term for a grammatical subclass to join sex in referring to either of the two primary biological forms of a species, meaning sex has had since the 14th century. Phrases like the male sex, the female gender are both grounded in established for more than 5 centuries. In the 20th century, sex and gender each acquired new uses. Sex developed its sexual intercourse meaning in the early part of the century, and now its more common meaning. And a few decades later, gender gained a meaning referring to the behavioral, cultural, or psychological traits typically associated with one's sex, as in gender roles. Later in the century, gender also came to have an application in two closely related compound terms. Gender identity refers to a person's internal sense of being, male, female, some combination of male or female, or neither. And gender expression refers to the physical and behavioral manifestations of one's gender identity. By the end of the century, gender by itself was being used as a synonym for gender identity. So gender is gender identity. And of course, how I identify is how I identify, and how you identify is how you identify, right? So among those who study gender and sexuality, a clear delineation between sex and gender is typically prescribed. So a clear delineation, which means that my physical sex, I'm a boy, I've got a penis, right? I'm a male. That is directly delineated between my gender being, gender male, gender, of the male species, whatever, blah, 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 right? So sex is preferred for the preferred term for the biological form, and gender is limited to its meanings involving behavior, cultural, physiological traits, blah, 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 right? So, we'll continue on. In this dichotomy, the term male and female relate only to biological forms. So sex. Male and female is the actual, so male is sex and female is sex. Anything else is masculine, masculinity, feminine, femininity, woman, girl, man, boy relate only to psychological and social cultural traits, as in gender. So my thought process was, and we're almost to my email, so I can open up my drafts. So my thought process was this: well, let's break down. Let's break down the cultural construct, right? The social construct, an idea that has been created and accepted by the people in a societal class, and distinctions are a social construct. Okay, perfect. So if society can create it, society can destroy it. So, God, the computer is slower than dirt. Now it's 10 minutes. I normally bring this up on my cell phone, but as you can see, I'm using my cell phone for this. And we remember the disaster that was me and my computer trying to trying to do this live on my computer. God, that was just a horrible nightmare. I think what's happening is my McAfee is slowing down my computer because I'm using a VPN. So it's funny. It says something's not right. Of course something's not right. I love how technology has screwed us so bad. But anyway, let's continue on with the definition and the schooling that we got from Merriam-Webster. The delineation also tends to be observed in technical and medical contexts, with the term sex referring to biological forms such as phrases as sex hormones, sex organs, biological sex. But in non-medical and non-technical contexts, there is no clear delineation, and the status of the words remains complicated. Often when comparisons explicitly between male and female people are made, we see the term gender employed, with the term dominating such collocations as gender differences, gender gap, gender equality, gender bias, and gender relations. It is likely that gender is applied in such contexts because of its psychological and sociocultural meanings, the word's duality making it dually useful. The fact remains often applied let's see. I'm restarting my computer because it's just irritating this at me. So, but in non-medical, non-technical contexts remain complicated, often with parents explicitly between the term gender employed, with the dominating in such colloquialisms, gender definition, gender gap, gender equality, gender bias, and gender relations. It is likely that gender is applied in such contexts because of its psychological and sociocultural meanings. The word's duality make the duality useful. It makes it dually useful. The fact remains that it is often applied in such cases against the prescribed use. Huh? So wait. So we're using terms against its prescribed use? No. No, say it isn't so. We're sloppy with the way we talk? No, it doesn't happen. Usage of sex and gender is by no means settled. For example, when discrimination was far more often paired with sex from the 1960s to the 20th century and into the 21st, the phrase gender discrimination has been steadily increasing in use since the 1980s and is on track to become the dominant collocation. Currently, both terms are sometimes employed with their intended synonym made explicit: sex gender discrimination, gender sex discrimination. Okay, and then let's talk about sex, right? We're not talking about, definition 2b. We're actually going to talk about definition, the whole definition, right? So sex is either of a two major forms of individuals that occur in mating species and that are distinguished respectively as female and male, especially on the basis of their reproductive organs, right? So sex is basically talking about genitals, right? Here. Male, so, well, no, actually, sex here is talking about, like, if we're sexing somebody, sex male, sex female, right? So B is the sum of structural, functional, and sometimes behavioral characteristics of organisms that distinguishes males from females. So this is a little bit like saying masculine, feminine, but it's not quite saying it. So we can't really say that, masculine and feminine are sex traits, right? So then 1C is the state of being male or female. So in the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the law prohibits employment discrimination based on sex, right? Sex, being male or female. 1D, males or females considered in a group of he gave the minister a sly look, daring him to disparage the female sex. Basically, like, okay, males, she's obviously female, sex-wise. He's obviously male, sex-wise, right? Got it. So 2A is a sexually motivated phenomenon or behavior. B is actual sexual intercourse. Hey, let's have sex, right? And then 3 is genitalia, right? Which for the most part, when most people talk about sex, they're talking about genitals. Are you a male or a female, right? We're not talking gender here. We're talking male or female, right? Gender, excuse me. It might get a little annoying because, I am sick. And this really fascinates the crap out of me. It really does. So again, we're gonna believe in our trifecta. We're gonna be fair. We're gonna be equal, and we're gonna treat everyone with dignity and respect. Right? What we're not gonna do, again, is we're not gonna allow the government to tell us how to think, how to talk, how to act, and how to feel. We're not gonna do compelled speech here. Right? So, if gender is a social construct and we can deconstruct gender, right, we have to have a method, right? There's got to be a method. And I think the best method to use here, because what we're talking about is actually a science. It's social sciences, whether we want to agree with it or not, or it's biological sciences, whether we want to agree with it or not. So we've got social science and regular science, and we're going to discuss something that is very interesting, right? It's this idea that if gender is a social construct, can we get rid of it? Oh my goodness gracious! This whole cell phone thing of mine is driving me nuts. Or this. It's almost as if like the powers that be, the karma gods, not karma gods, the gender gods. The gender gods don't want me to prove this, because if I, a layman who, has no college education, can come to this conclusion, then I wonder what can happen if you have a college education. Let's say if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a banker. If you could come to a same or similar conclusion, then what? What if somebody's come to the conclusion first? Well, let me tell you, there's something I found in my research this week, and that is a very famous and well-known lawyer, may go by the name of Ben Shapiro, also did the exact same thing I did. From what I understand, I have not watched his video yet. I refuse to do so. I wanted to see where I came from at first and do this video before I watched his. But from what I understand, Ben Shapiro came to the exact same conclusion that I did. And that's fascinating to me. That's fascinating to me because that means that if Podunk, Hickville, Northwest Arkansas, poorly educated hick can come to the same conclusion, well then guess what? Now my conclusion's a little bit harsher, I think, than Ben's is going to be, because I'm in the community. And I see the community for what it is. I mean, you want to see a group of fucking narcissists. Just go to a gay bar and you'll see a whole bunch of narcissistic bastards. Like, it's literally all about themselves. They don't give a fuck about anybody else. The way they treat everybody is narcissistic. The way they treat the heterosexual community is narcissistic. The way they treat anybody but their small little group of tight-knit people right here, it's fucking narcissism at its finest, right? So here we go, right? So the 7 steps to the scientific method are this. You got to ask a question. The first step in the scientific method is ask a question that you want answered, right? And my question is, if gender is a social construct, can we deconstruct gender to be 100% neutral? Meaning no more gender. In essence, eradicating gender. All that's left is sex. Male and female sex. That's it, right? So we would have to perform research. And the research that I hypothesize. Well, I mean, establish a hypothesis is number 3, but the research. Gender was created as a way of addressing sex an individual possess. Sex being defined as genitals a person was born with. Yes, sir, no, ma'am, his, her, blah, blah, blah. You know, his chair, her purse, right? So that's what we found out. Gender was created as a way of addressing the sex of an individual, right? So there's the social construct about it, right? So establish my hypothesis. Calling people by their name, right? By their proper name. My first name is William, I go by Will, right? By calling Ann, or Mike, there is no, and calling like clothes neutral. It's just clothes. It's adult clothes or children's clothes. So that's how we get to say what the size is, right? It's adult clothes or children's clothes. They're just toys. They're not male toys or boys' toys or girl toys. They're just toys. By eliminating certain traits as a distinction of men or women. So he's masculine, she's feminine. He's, the stronger sex, she's the fairer sex. If we get rid of all of that, if everything was eradicated, if we just said, you know what, that he's feminine. Well, what's feminine? Who gives a shit? Feminine. Right? If we were able to do all of this, right? If we were to get rid of all these things and just call Ann and Mike, right? Mike's just Mike. We'll just define Mike. Now, define Mike by other terms other than his. Mike has a penis. So there's that. We don't have to go any further than saying Mike has a penis. We don't have to say Mike's a boy, Mike's male, Mike's masculine, Mike's any of that. Mike just has a penis. That's it. He's 6 foot tall. He's got dark hair. He's got brown eyes. He's about 230 pounds. He's fucking Mike, right? Susan, she's 165 pounds. She's got red hair. She's got, a vagina and tits. We don't care, right? We're not talking about feminine traits or masculine traits. We're just talking about Ann and Mike, right? And we're going to refer to them as Ann and Mike. No more yes, ma'am, no, sir. It's yes, Ann, no, Ann, yes, Mike, no, Mike, right? So test your hypothesis by conducting an experiment. And so I'll tell you, for the last week, I've referred to everybody by non-gender terms. If I know their name, I ask, first off, what's your name? That's the first thing I ask is, what's your name? And I get their name. Okay, your name is Suzanne. Okay, Suzanne. And I refer to her as Suzanne in every way possible. It's Suzanne's chair, Suzanne's shirt, Suzanne's purse, Steve's jacket, Steve's watch, Steve's everything. We just refer to we refer to everything by possessive with the proper noun, not a pronoun, a proper noun of their name. Right? So what was my observation? In the week, I got odd looks because, I wasn't communicating like most other people did, but in no way was it difficult for me to communicate with people. They knew exactly what I was trying to say. As a matter of fact, it probably overemphasized some stuff at times. And it wasn't hard for me to get my point across. I find that interesting. I find that to be very, very interesting. So in analyzing my results, here's what I found. I believe that in today's politically charged atmosphere and social climate, it is no longer politically correct to refer to anybody as a gender, as gender is a made-up social construct and can totally eradicate it in less than a year. I really believe that. I think that if we were to stop referring to people by yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, gender is completely eradicated within a year. Now, what I find interesting about this is, in this research and study that I did, I found that terms used to be used. There used to be different terms back in the day, right? So gender is a social construct. If we got rid of gender as a social construct, then my friends that are transgender are now transsexual. They just are. Because they were born with male sex, they were born with male sex organs, and they don't feel like a male. They feel like a female. So they are going to do whatever they possibly can to outwardly express themselves as female, which means getting sex reassignment surgery. Now, I find it interesting that transsexual now became transgender, and sex reassignment surgery became gender affirmation surgery. It's actually been called that. We no longer call it, because for some reason, right? For some reason, it's offensive to call it transsexual, and it's offensive to call it sex reassignment surgery. It's now transgender and gender affirmation surgery. Well, let me tell you, if we've gotten rid of gender altogether, you can't be transgender. No such thing. Never heard of her. So then what are you? You're transsexual. And if you're having your sex changed to go from what you feel on the outside to what you feel on the inside to be what you feel on the outside or what you see on the outside, then it's sex reassignment surgery. Right? That's it. That's the bottom line, right? That's the part we don't talk about. That's the part we don't ever want to broach or try to, I don't know. Call it what you wish. But I'll tell you right now, I don't think there's a such thing as gender. I after all the research that I did and listening to people who have been doing this a lot longer than I have, there's no such thing as gender anymore. It's a social construct. It's completely irrelevant in 2022, and we just need to get rid of it. That's impressive, isn't it? Oh, yeah, that was hanging right off the end, wasn't it? That's outstanding. That'll keep you coming back for more. So, yeah, there's no such thing as gender, and we shouldn't be using it. And you know what? It's funny that Ben Shapiro came to the exact same conclusion. That the way people are fighting this whole gender issue of, I'm gender non-binary, or I'm non-conformist, or non, all this other bullshit, right? So what you're basically saying is there's no such thing as gender. And you know what? I agree with you. Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of gender. So now you can't be transgender because we don't have gender. There's no such thing. All that's left is sex. Because, to be honest with you, I'm gay. That's a sexual orientation. It's not a gender orientation. Straight's a sexual orientation. A demisexual is a sexual orientation. Transsexuals, well, that's just a whole different issue. But, it makes it so much easier, too. It would make our community so much easier if we just got rid of this whole bullshit of gender and just, let's, in today's politically charged atmosphere and social climate, it's no longer politically correct to refer to somebody by a gender. Boy, girl, done. Well, you can't call me a boy. Well, bitch, you got genitals. Let's say you're a boy. Now, if you don't want me calling you a boy, what's your name? Ann? Then you're fucking Ann. Done. But quit being narcissistic about some of this bullshit. You really are. And I'll tell you something. I'll say it for the first time on any kind of broadcast. I'm not taking anything away from the transgender community. I have transgender friends. My first boyfriend is now a woman. Was probably a woman when we first dated, back in the day. I have nothing but respect for her and the shit she's gone through. But I would like to know something, because I'm HIV positive, and in my HIV support groups, back when I first became positive, we saw that guys weren't disclosing their status till the very last damn minute. So these guys were dating somebody for 3, 4, 5, 6 months before, how you doing time came, right? And when that time came, they finally disclosed their status. And you know what? The relationship fell apart. Because the person who wasn't positive was like, you've lied to me about your HIV status for so long. What else have you lied to me about? Right? Now, I am not saying that it is okay in any way, shape, form, or fashion to be violent, physically violent with anybody else. It's not right. You don't have the right to kill anybody else. But I will tell you this. It makes sense if a transgender person has lied about what's going to be, I may look like a girl on the outside, but when we go to having sex, Big Jim and the twins are going to be staring you in the fucking face. Finkel's Einhorn, you know what I'm saying? Are these transgender people that are being killed every year a byproduct of the fact that they're not telling their secret until the very last minute? It's something I'd like to know. And it's something that they don't want to talk about. Oh, you shouldn't be, you're right. You shouldn't be killing anybody for any fucking reason whatsoever. But if we can tell these girls, look, here's what we're seeing. If you keep your secret from your partner until it comes time for happy time, there's a larger chance that you're going to be killed than if you actually just come straight up and say it. Look, here it is. And I'll be the first one to admit, it sucks. Does it fucking suck that I tell people straight up? Was there the possibility of good guys that would not date me because of my absolutely? But I got a great one now. It'll happen. But stop fucking lying to people. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on liberal versus conservative because, look, a liberal is somebody who believes in liberty, right? Every last one of my conservative friends believes in liberty. Freedom, justice, liberty. You're liberals, bitch. Don't fucking fake the funk. And for all you liberals out there, they're like, oh, conservative this, conservative that. You're wanting to conserve the environment, right? Protect it for others. Anybody who believes in conservation of resources and the environment is a conservationist and therefore conservative. The only difference is that when you look at the governing document, right? Here's where your insult gets to be a little bit stupid. So I want to conserve the Constitution and what it believes in, right? They say it's a living, breathing document. Yes, as it's written, it's a living, breathing document. It changes with the times. Look at it. But the fact that we are a democratic republic, that we elect people to go represent us. Representative democracy. That's what we are. Right? Anybody who's trying to tear that down is a clear and present danger to the United States and the Constitution. But every last one of you are liberals and you're all conservatives. I guarantee you. Stop it with this bullshit. Just fucking stop it. You are. Now here's where it is. You're either for big business and fucking big government or you're not. Right? That's really what it is. Like, come on now. Democrats, you're all about fucking big government. You want government to tell you to take care of every last fucking instance bullshit thing with everything. Like here it is. Here's a Democrat. A Democrat wants the government to come in and tell us what to think, how to talk, how to act, and how to feel. They want to compel speech. That's what that's your Democrats right now. This is it. This is here. Trust me. I'm a born again fucking anti-Democrat. But you know what? I'm also a born again anti-Republican too, because Republicans just have nothing but big business in mind. Nothing but big business in mind. And that's why we sent every goddamn thing over to fucking China. Because big business realized that, we don't have to deal with all the fucking EPA bullshit over there. We don't have to do with the FDA bullshit over there. We don't have to deal with you're fucking over another goddamn country so that we can have cheap tchotchke shit fucking here. Why don't you talk to somebody who says your truth and my truth? I'll tell you why. Because all they're talking about is feelings, right? The truth hurts their feelings. My feelings. Well, tough shit. You know what? Have some goddamn feelings. Get them fucking hurt. You might learn something. You might learn that there's this thing called coping skills that you need to fucking learn drastically. God, you need to learn them drastically. like I told somebody today, your truth and my truth, right? Your truth and my truth, right? There's the truth. And so the Parental Rights and Education Act, there's this Pete Bugatti bullshit that's going around where him and his husband, let's say their kid goes and says, I had the greatest time with my daddies, and the teacher said, oh, we can't talk about that. How about this? How about, look, I'm in Florida. I grew up in Arkansas. Two of the biggest Bible swinging fucking states that you ever thought about. So let's say that Mike and I decide to have a kid, and our kid goes to school and says, I had the greatest time at Disney with my daddies this weekend, and this staunch right-wing conservative fucking teacher who, is holy rolling fucking Christian and thinks that only a man and a woman should be having children and a man and a woman should be married, and then says that to my kid, I'm going to sue the fucking piss out of her. Because guess what the law says, right? The Parental Rights and Education Act actually protects gay kids too. Because I was the victim of that kind of bullshit. Right? But nobody wants to see it that way. No. They want to see it toward, let's sexualize fucking children so that they can go up and talk about sucking dicks in fucking kindergarten. When the fuck were we ever thinking about sucking dicks in kindergarten? And here's the thing, right? Was it so bad growing up? Was it so bad growing up? Now, granted, I wasn't kicked out of my house because I was gay. I get it. I wasn't. But they're sitting here saying, oh, this is going to harm kids. Were we harmed then? 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 60 years ago, were we harmed then? Why are we going to be harmed now? Where's this fake harm that's going to happen? Your truth and my truth. No, there's the truth. The truth is this is not going to harm kids. Your feelings are fucking hurt about it, and that's great. And that's your truth. Your truth is your feelings are hurt. But the truth is your kids aren't going to be harmed by this. They're not. They're just not. And so stop it. You look like an idiot. And like I said in my short take this week, gay. Where's your outrage? Here's my truth. You want to talk about my truth? How about the truth? The truth is Hollywood stripped any mention of gay out of fucking the excuse me, the newest Dumbledore movie so that they could show it in China. Fucking communist goddamn China. Why are we purifying our fucking movies for China? Why can't you just send that shit overseas? And if the Chinese don't like it, fuck them. Oh, so we can purify it for communist China, but yet you're gonna shove it down my throat over here and say, oh, well, my fucking high school, because here's the truth, right? Here's the slippery slope truth. Because trust me, gay kids in the military found it the fuck out, right? Gay military kids wanted, you guys, hot and fucking heavy on this rebel flag. If they don't want the rebel flag on fucking bases, and I can support them, I support them 110%. Well, guess what the military did? The military said, fine. If it's not the U.S. flag, the POW/MIA flag, or the flag of the state that we're in, it can't be flown on fucking base. No rebel flag, no gay flag. Good job, guys. Now, I'm not saying, you know what, I'd rather have the rebel flag flown because now I know which assholes I need to fucking watch myself for. But now we can't do that because, you don't want, you guys are so fucking stupid and have no forward thinking. Oh, if we get rid of the fucking rebel flag on base, then we're better off. No, you're not. Now they're just doing it in secret. That's the truth. Not your truth, not my truth, the truth. Now they're just doing it in secret. But you know what? All those gay kids, now they can't fly their fucking gay flag. And they fucking bitch about it. I'm in 4 different LGBT military groups, and they bitch about how they can't fly their rainbow flag on base. Well, tough shit. You reap what you sow. And it's the same thing here. But you know what? Here's the thing. Is it actually protects fucking gay kids, too. You just don't want to see it. Which is the reason why, and we're going straight to my last one, Facebook is fucking shitbook. Politics and religion. It seems like that's the only thing you guys talk about on fucking social media anymore. Where was the... Well, I actually have a social media platform for my fucking dog because I thought she was cute. I still think she's cute. She's adorable. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. My fucking dog. She lowered my blood pressure. She helped relieve some anxiety and depression that I was having. It's fucking amazing. Love her to death. I'm scared to death because I know that as a Great Dane, she doesn't last that long and she's gonna pass. And it fucking breaks my heart and kills me. But no, we can't do that anymore because you know what doesn't fucking sell? If it's not sensationalism, it doesn't fucking sell. It doesn't sell on CNN, it doesn't sell on Fox, and it sure as fuck doesn't sell on Facebook. AKA shitbook. Right? But here we are. We're all on shitbook talking about politics and religion and getting pissed off at every goddamn buddy. God, Bernie, I really wish that Facebook would be for memes and alcohol and not politics and religion, but nobody cares. Like, Jordan Peterson said it best, and Jordan Peterson is not political. Jordan Peterson is just a psychologist, and he said this, that if Bernie and I were standing in front of each other, we would be civil because we understand that there's the underlying tension that if you fuck up, you're going to catch these hands. Facebook doesn't have that. So you can go off and say whatever the fuck you want to on Facebook, and you're not going to catch hands. And the chances are I'm probably going to block you and forget about you before I see you again. So you're not going to catch the hands the next time I see you for something that you said on Facebook. Or shitbook. You want to, and here's the thing too, and I really wish Facebook would listen to this. And I challenge you, if anybody fucking is listening and gives a goddamn, right? I challenge you to tell Facebook, make it to where I can stop commenting on my own fucking post. Why is it on my own private page I can't stop commenting? I can't turn off commenting. I can do it if I'm an admin for a group. I'm an admin for a group of nothing but chiefs, and if they start getting rowdy, I can turn off commenting. Why is it I can't do that on my own page? Why can't I just make statements without comments? I don't want comments anymore. I don't want to see comments on my stuff. I just want to put it out there. You want to debate me about it? Then you call my ass or DM me, but don't sit there and get all nasty and shit on my comments. That's one of the things I think that could turn shitbook kind of back into maybe friend book. Maybe friend book. But right now it's just shitbook. Anyway, where am I sitting with time? 7:43. See? I was able to make all 4 points in still under an hour. So I've eradicated gender. Liberals and conservatives are the same fucking people. You just are. Either you believe in big business and either you believe in big business or you believe in the government doing everything. But as far as liberal and conservatives, you're the same people. Stop it. Say what you really are. I'd rather left and right than liberal and conservative because you're not insulting me if you call me a conservative. Because thank God, I want to be a conservative. I want to be a conservative like you and conserve the planet for posterity and for our kids. I do. You want to call me a liberal and say, oh, you're a liberal? Well, great. I believe in liberty and freedom. If I want to own a handgun, that's my freedom to do so. You're not insulting me if you call me a conservative or a liberal. Sorry, you're just not. And you shouldn't be offended by it either, because you are. You're a liberal and a conservative. Your truth versus my truth? No, there's the truth. That's it. Your truth and my truth is my feelings and your feelings. That's it. That's all it is. Your feelings on it. Not the facts, your feelings on it. And let me tell you, you better come correct or get corrected with your facts, because I've already proven that in today's politically charged atmosphere and social climate, it is no longer politically correct to refer to anybody as a gender. And gender is a made-up social construct that can be totally eradicated in less than a year. Then what do you have? Narcissists. That's all you have left. Then the cream really does kind of rise to the top, but here in a cesspool, it's that green scum that goes on the top, that rises to the top. That's what'll happen. And then shitbook, how politics and religion is ruining social media. It's disgusting. And look at any of them. Look at Facebook. Look at Twitter. I'll tell you right now, there was a 4-year period of time that I just wished a certain somebody would get off his fucking Twitter account and lead the people. But I'll tell you what, I'll be the first to admit, I think that he stayed on Twitter and got us all riled up so that we wouldn't pay attention to what government was actually doing. It's just my opinion on it. But it still made it shit. It made it shit to the point where you silenced his ass. How un-American. Remember your truth and my truth, but there's the truth. God, that's the sticky part about free speech, man. You're gonna you don't believe in free speech anymore. You're not liberal. If you want to sit there and call yourself a free speech advocate, and you know that's what a liberal is, a free speech advocate, and then turn around and ban Donald Trump from Twitter because, you know, Orange Man bad, you're not a liberal. You're anything but. I'm more of a liberal than you are. Yeah. Two wings on the same plane hurtling to the ground. They are. I don't know what I want to talk about next week. That's the sad part. I know it's got to connect into the videos that I've done already, because if you notice, they all connect. You know, I might do mental health. I might do mental health again, but I think I'm going to do mental health in the gay community. And how we've got a lot of undiagnosed problems in our community that really need to be fixed. I see the LGBT community and the military community being very similar. You know, and I'll touch on it right now. I got 13 minutes left. You know, kids that didn't grow up with coping skills go towards a bottle or drugs. And a lot of veterans who can't get used to, you know, people don't stand at attention and call attention on deck when they walk in a room anymore. They go to a bottle and a VFW or a DAV. American Legion. You see it all the time. And it's sad how these people will go to a bottle, but they won't go and talk to somebody about it. Party and play, P&P, is rampant in our community, which just don't do that. God, you want to see the worst our community has to offer? Go and see somebody who's partying and playing, and watch how just sad they are. They're sad. That's my truth, right? The truth is they're destroying themselves on. I've got a friend. I'm going to use that term friend very, very loosely. Who, he's heavily into crystal meth and coke. And I feel the most sorry for his husband, who's not into crystal meth and coke. And he's destroying his life. You know, he's one of these narcissists that's, you know, gotta be close to the gay scene for whatever fucking reason. Like, you got the most amazing husband standing next to you, but yet you gotta be in the gay scene. And why? Why? God, you're 50 fucking years old. Why? I'm too old to be shaking my ass in a gay bar. And you are definitely too old to be shaking your ass in a gay bar. You're coked out, teened up, nasty mess. You're gross. You used to have a nice house, now that's worn down. It's horrible. It's horrible, the bullshit that is in our communities that we just don't talk about. You know, it's the gay community, it's the military community. Both of them are communities of mine. God, I would be a 2-time loser if I didn't have coping skills. But I have them. And I don't let this shit bother me. I'm not Chief Means anymore. I'm just fucking Will. And I don't identify as my sexuality. I'm just a dude. You know, I'm just a dude that, you know, kind, caring, loving, enjoys camping, hiking, mountain biking, concerts, amusement parks, roller coasters. Oh yeah, nowhere in there did I put my sexuality, did I? Yeah, because I'm not defined by that. And a lot of these guys are, and you can tell. And they suck. So, yeah. Well, I'm sick and it's been 50 minutes, so I'm going to do it. I'm just going to leave you with that. We've completely deconstructed gender as a social construct and said gender no longer exists. And we should stop referring to people by genders, you know? I could sit here and go up the list of people that have shown up on this list right now. Melvin, Bernie, Eric, Greg. Just call them by their name. You don't have to call them by anything else other than their name. Liberals are conservatives and conservatives are liberals. You are. I'm sorry. Deal with it. There's the truth. There's not your truth and my truth. That's your feelings. Get out of your feelings and start getting into your facts again. Because that would help so much. God, it would help so much if we would just get out of our feelings and start looking at the facts again. But somebody said that, you know, your feelings are validated. Well, yeah, your feelings are validated. If you're mad, you're valid in feeling mad. But that doesn't mean that your anger gets to dictate what everybody else has to do around you. That's bullshit. But, you know, whatever. And then shit book. Let's quit talking about politics and religion and all that other shit on social media. And let's get back to posting cute kitten memes and you know, what your favorite alcohol is. And let's not bitch about, oh, you know, you like scotch, well, I like bourbon, and bourbon's better than scotch, and scotch is better than bourbon. Let's just agree to, I like one, you like the other, and let's just drink our favorite. All right? So until then, you guys stay classy, and I'll see you on the backside.